It was a stormy night, one of those nights when the rain tapped on the windows like a ghostly visitor seeking entrance. I found myself alone in my old, somewhat eerie house. The creaking of the wooden floors, the howling wind outside, and the intermittent flashes of lightning created an unsettling atmosphere. I did my best to maintain my composure, but an undeniable tension hung in the air, making my skin prickle with unease. As I sat on the worn-out couch, bathed in the eerie glow of the TV, a soft, whispering voice penetrated the room. It wasn't an ordinary whisper. It was a voice that sounded eerily familiar, uttering my name with an unsettling intimacy. "John." My heart skipped a beat, and a shiver ran down my spine. My curiosity, always a double-edged sword, got the best of me, urging me to investigate. I rose from the couch and ventured down the dimly lit hallway. Each step seemed to take me deeper into the darkness, and with each step, the temperature in the house dropped, matching the chilling sensation crawling up my spine. The whispering persisted, growing more distinct, as though it carried a story meant for me and me alone. Summoning every ounce of courage, I cautiously pushed open the door to my bedroom. What I saw in the mirror on the dresser sent a chill through my bones. My reflection, my own image, appeared grotesquely distorted. My eyes, the windows to my soul, were now voids, as black as the abyss of space, devoid of any humanity I had ever known. My heart raced, and I stumbled back in shock, realizing that this was no ordinary haunted house scenario. Something far more sinister had manifested itself, and it had chosen me as its unwilling observer. I hastily retreated to the living room, seeking refuge from the growing sense of dread. My gaze landed on an old family portrait that had always given me an unsettling feeling. The figures in the portrait, my ancestors, stared back at me, their eyes reflecting the same soulless, inky blackness that I had seen in my reflection. It was as though they held some dark secret, a secret they were now revealing. The whispering voices, once a mere murmur, had now grown into a dissonant chorus, filling the room with a haunting symphony. Shadows danced and swirled in every corner, mocking my growing unease. Then, from the depths of the mirror, a spectral figure emerged, slowly taking form. It reached out toward me, beckoning me to come closer, to join it in the twisted narrative it was constructing. A sense of dread washed over me, and I finally comprehended the gravity of the situation. I was not alone in the house, and this was no typical nightmare. I had become the unwilling protagonist in a story that defied logic and reason. The plot was thickening, growing darker by the minute, and there was no sign of an escape. Every instinct in me screamed to run, to flee from this malevolent presence. But every door I opened, every attempt to escape, led me back to the same living room, the same haunted mirror, the same spectral figure beckoning me closer. Hours stretched into what felt like an eternity, and fear clung to me like a suffocating shroud. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, the shadows more menacing, and the spectral figure more demanding. It was as though the very house itself had become a sentient being, one that reveled in my torment. I tried to call for help, to escape through the front door, but every attempt was thwarted. The front door opened only to reveal the same dimly lit hallway that led back to the living room. Panic gnawed at me, and I felt like a trapped animal in a never-ending nightmare. In my desperation, I returned to the mirror, staring at my own reflection with those abyssal eyes. The reflection seemed to mock me, as though it reveled in my torment. I pleaded, I shouted, but the reflection offered no solace, no escape. As the clock continued to tick away the hours, my sanity began to unravel. I had lost all sense of time, all sense of reality. The whispers had become a ceaseless cacophony, an ever-present torment, and the shadows seemed to be closing in on me. It was then that I realized the only way out was to confront the spectral figure, to reach out and touch its outstretched hand. With trembling fingers, I took a step closer to the mirror. The figure's hand was ice cold, and as our fingers met, a shockwave of cold and dread coursed through my body. I was left home alone for the first time. My parents had gone on a weekend getaway, and I was supposed to be responsible. The house felt eerily quiet, and the creaking of the floorboards echoed through the empty rooms. As night fell, I heard strange noises coming from the basement, like whispers and faint laughter. My heart raced as I cautiously made my way downstairs, gripping a flashlight tightly in my trembling hand. The basement door stood ajar, even though I had closed it earlier. I slowly descended the stairs, and the air grew colder with each step. I could hear my own rapid breathing as I reached the basement floor. The eerie whispers and giggles grew louder, and I shined my flashlight around the room, revealing nothing but old, dusty furniture and shadows. Just as I began to convince myself that it was my imagination playing tricks on me, I felt a cold, bony hand grip my shoulder. I turned around in terror to see a pale, ghostly figure with hollow eyes staring at me. My scream echoed through the basement as I bolted up the stairs, slamming the door shut behind me. The ghostly figure pounded on the door, and I could hear its chilling laughter. I locked myself in my room, praying for my parents' return. The night felt endless as I listened to the ghostly presence roaming the house. It whispered my name from behind the closed door, making my skin crawl. Shadows danced outside my window, and the house seemed to come alive with eerie, unexplained sounds. When my parents finally returned, they found me trembling and pale. I told them about the horrifying experience in the basement, but they comforted me and assured me it was just my imagination. They chalked it up to the house's old creaks and groans, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something malevolent had been with me that night, something that defied logical explanation. I would never forget the bone-chilling encounter I had while home alone, and it left me with a haunting fear of the dark and the unknown.